All right. Hello, YouTube. Um, I have something very, very special for you today. Last night, I went to see two movies back to back, Warfare and Drop. Um, so today, right now, I will be I will be talking about and reviewing Warfare. Um, So this movie is directed by Alex Garland, who you probably know from movies like Dread, Civil War, um, Annihilation, Men, um, and then that movie with Alicia Vikander, that sci-fi movie that I don't remember the name of at the moment, um, but Alex Garland actually directed this movie with former Navy SEAL Ray Mendoza. And this movie is actually based on what Ray Mendoza and his platoon went through in November 19th, I believe, 2006, in the war in Iraq. Um, so this movie opens with um, Ray Mendoza and his platoon arriving, um, and I want to say, arriving in Iraq. They arrive in like this village, I think, um, and they're just basically camping out. Um, and they're just basically camping out there. They're keeping an eye on things. Um, and then all of a sudden they are ambushed. Um, now, now, anyone here who has seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, um, I think remembers, I think remembers that, the opening of that movie, the beginning of the movie, the beginning of the movie, that opening, um, is one of the it is one of the most friggin' brutal openings for a war movie, um, that anyone has ever seen. When the action kicks off in this movie, that is literally all this movie is. It is brutal, it is graphic, um this is literally the most realistic and horrifying and horrifyingly graphic war movie that I have ever seen. Um, and it captures, um, and this movie focuses so little on character development. Um, this movie focuses so little on plot and character development and all the things, just, all the things that drive uh that would normally drive a movie, um this movie basically ignores all of that, because this movie is all about capturing what these men, this movie is all about capturing just, the horrific events that these men went through. um and um and it's just and this movie is relatively low budget. This movie was only made on a $20 million budget, which is insane, because uh you look at because you look at the budget, for like Marvel movies, and you look at the budget for some of the more expensive movies, and the fact that they were able to do the fact that they were able the fact that, Alex Garland, Ray Mendoza, A24 is the studio behind this movie. The fact that they were all able to bring this movie to life on such a low budget, um, on such a low budget, and to really, really capture, uh, the events of what happened is insane. Um, and this movie, from what I understand, is relatively historically accurate. There aren't a lot of historically accurate movies out there. Um, but but this is it, what's so s- what sets this apart from other what sets this what sets this apart from other war movies is I genuinely felt like y- y- I genuinely felt like, like when I was watching this, I genuinely felt like I was there. Like, and this was one of the things that Saving Private Ryan did so incredibly well. Um, is making you feel, um, is making you feel like, that you were there. Like you weren't, like when I was watching this, like I got, like when I was watching this, like I didn't feel like I was watching a movie. I felt like I was watching the memories of I feel like, or, I felt like I was watching, uh, I felt like I was watching I was watching, someone, I felt like I was watching a veteran's memories, something that he filmed, or something, something that he, or somebody else, filmed. This did not feel like just a movie to me. This felt real. And there really aren't too many war movies out there that do that. Um, this movie, this movie focuses so little on character development and plot, um, and plot, um, and there isn't even an opening score for the movie. That is how uh that is how real this movie is. Um, that is how real this movie is. And from what I understand, they did that because Garland and Mendoza, um they did that to capture the brutality um and the horrors of war. They really wanted to make a movie that they really wanted to make a war movie that really sets it apart from other war movies, and they succeeded completely. Um, this I this movie was just it was so incredible, and if I'm being honest, hard to watch at times, because uh part of the movie is obviously, like when the action starts, it doesn't let up. Your heart is literally like in your mouth the entire time. uh the entire time you're watching this, it doesn't, your pulse is pounding, uh your anxiety is going all over the place. Like, I have never seen a war movie um that made me feel this way. And excuse me, sorry. Um and like I said, it's hard to watch at times because part of the movie um is trying to get a couple of their guys who have been very, very, very severely wounded, um to to an extraction point. They're trying to get them out of there. And they're so badly wounded that that when they finally need to be moved, they are screaming in agony. They are literally like they are screaming in agony, and it is very much how these men, um and it is, and the way that these events are portrayed are exactly how they would be portrayed in real life. And and from what I understand, Garland and Mendoza wanted to make a movie. They didn't want to just do like your average like war movie. They wanted to do something that felt real, that felt um that felt they wanted to to capture the full essence, and the full essence and the full in the full cost of warfare. and and everything, from the sound design to the special effects to the um to the to just literally everything about it. It just, like, how when you're playing, for example, if you, like, how, like, if you're playing, um like when I was watching this movie, like, how when you're playing Call of Duty, for example, um you're very immersed in the battle and the war. You're very much immersed in the battle and the and what's going on, that you feel like you're there. That's what this movie felt like to me. I and from what I understand, um they consulted with uh you know w- they consulted with the members of the platoon. This movie is their memories of what happened. And um this movie is their memories of what happened. It's their time in Iraq. And and it and like I couldn't um and it's just and this movie just completely blew my mind. I mean, Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza directed their asses off. Um, I mean, this is truly unlike any other. This is truly unlike any other war movie you will ever see in your life. It captures your attention, like, literally, like, I couldn't take my eyes off it. I couldn't. I was so absorbed in in what was going on, and what um I was so absorbed in what was going on and what happened, or and what was going on in the movie. um and this movie is based, or this movie is dedicated to platoon member, what was his name? Elliott Miller, who actually lost both his leg and his voice in this event. Um, and it's just, I literally, I could not believe, uh, I could not believe how much they were able to pull off on such a small budget. uh the choreography and the choreography was friggin' phenomenal. Alex Garland, I mean, I Alex Garland was, you know, I and even in movies like, one of the things that Alex Garland is so incredibly good at when it comes to his movies, particularly, and um uh this was um and he did this with Civil War too, even though I didn't really even though I didn't particularly care for that movie. uh the choreography in that movie was phenomenal. um and I got very similar vibes. uh you know, this movie reminded me of Civil War a little bit, because um I mean, those are obviously two different movies, uh but it reminded me of Civil War because the choreography and just, how the events of war, war how the events of war were depicted in that movie felt, felt so real. And I think that is what, and I think Alex Garland did that on purpose. He wanted to carry that over. He wanted to carry that aspect over from Civil War to this movie. And he did. And he did. He is such an incredible filmmaker. He's such an incredible filmmaker. And in this movie, and like I said, when the action starts, it does not let up. It does not let up. I was felt like this movie, to me, again, it didn't feel like an average war movie. This felt real. This felt like I was there. Um, and I just, everything about it, from the sound design to the choreography to, to the heavy action sequences, you know to the way that the movie was directed, to the way, I mean, just everything about it. I mean, everything about it, it's just, you felt like you were there. um and it was such an incredible movie. If you guys, um if you guys like war movies, if you guys want to see something, if you guys want to see something, excuse me, if you guys want to see something truly incredible, if you guys want to see, something truly incredible and just truly, uh larger than life, watch this. I don't recommend watching this if you have a weak stomach. If you have a weak stomach, if you don't like, if you don't like, graphic, heavy, uh, gore and, uh, you know, heavy graphic war and, um, people being, torn apart and, if you can't handle, like people being, torn apart by, you know, bullets and explosions and stuff like that, like, if you can't, like, if you're sensitive to, if you're sensitive, to, stuff like that, stay as far away from this movie as possible. But if you can handle it, if you don't have an issue with it, watch this, because it is truly, um because this is truly cinema. This is, I this is on another level. Um, I would put this right up there with, like, 1917. It's that incredible. Um, and just, yeah, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. Alex Garland, Ray Mendoza, you guys did just a phenomenal job with this movie. Um, And yeah, I just go see it. It's playing in theaters right now. It's playing in theaters right now, um, and like I said, if you like war movies, watch it because you are in for something truly very special. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you saw it and what you thought of it. Like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.